I would say land nav in general is easily the most feared event in OCS. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. A lot of people are very scared of land nav. However though, it's probably the least failed event in general. You will have a better chance of failing the 4-mile run before you'll fail land nav. 6 chances in total, 3 day and 3 for night. So you'll get a pre-qual, you'll get a qual, and you'll get a retest. You gotta find 4 points out of 7 in literally 4 hours. You'll have class about how to shoot an azimuth, how to use a compass and stuff like that before you get out in the field. And also how to plot points a little bit. It'll help a little bit. Once you finish that class, if you have no idea, practice with your friends. A lot of strategies that you can do, like go in a room, turn the lights off, plot points in the dark, plot points in the night, and just test and compare y'all points and make sure y'all are on the same page. You get off the bus. You're gonna have to walk like a whole mile, like a mile and some change to get to the starting point. So be prepared to walk. Don't be surprised. You're gonna walk like a mile and some change to go to your starting point. It's a good little walk because you go up a little hill, but you get to see the conditions of the overall of land nav and see like, oh yeah, we actually out here in the trenches. Like, cause once you're out there now. There's no turning around at this point. The first thing you'll do a Cadre led walkthrough. So the Cadre will kind of walk y'all through like land nav and all that stuff. Kind of get the layout of the land, how far stuff is. Trust me, it's far. Like, the walk is far. Like, you're gonna be to walk to one end can literally take you like an hour and a half just to walk. Trust me, it's a far walk. You gonna be walking. Trust me, you're gonna walk easily about like easily 10 miles a day. I kind of like being with some people. Some of them will recycle, so they already knew where the points were at. So a lot of people just kind of follow them. Even though I'm recycled and stuff, I kind of make sure that I'm not recycled at this point, but I try to like at least plot the points. I didn't just know where the points were at because I got hurt, so I didn't really know any of the points. So I was still fresh in land nav. So next thing we did buddy teams. Nighttime instead. So we went straight into it. Bam. We ended up pairing with last names, and fortunately, my last name was paired up with someone that had a lot of experience. So I had no experience at land nav. He had like 17 years. So it was very helpful to kind of like pick his brain and kind of figure stuff out. So he was very big on terrain association, which is also a major key. He barely even plotted his points type deal. Like, he did his stuff super fast and he just walked the wilderness. You don't have to rush when you plot your points. You can take your time, double check your points, stuff like that. You can get your points pretty fast. Like, if you plan accordingly, you don't have to rush to plot your points and be the first one gone. He's like, hey, you want to try to get 7 points? I'm like, sure, why not? So he's dead reckoning. He's going through the water. He's going up trees. He's breaking the branches, walking across the bridges and everything. So I'm like, bro, I'm tired. I end up to the point where I actually dropped my tracker. Didn't even know until like the next day I had dropped my tracker in the water. We ended up finding the 7 points at night, but I didn't feel as confident because he did most of the work. And even I found 2 points, but it was kind of under his assistance. So I told him, like, during daytime, after I found my tracker, you can find the first 3 points, but can I just do the last 4 and just don't say anything, just follow behind me? I can just find it. If I need something, I'll just let you know, but make sure I'm on the right track. So we did that. So I ended up finding 3 of the 4 points, and I found the 4th one, but it was with his assistance. I felt a little confident, but it's a difference between daytime and nighttime land nav. Trust me, it's a big difference. You can be slightly off 50 meters, and you can, or 50 or 100 meters, and you can see your point during the daytime. You can just walk right to it, no problem. But nighttime, especially if it's a point in the woods, you're not gonna have that same luxury of seeing your point. If you got a bad light that's 100 meters off or 200 meters off or even 300 meters off, you're not gonna be able to see it in auto adjust. There's less room for error. It gets apparent. I'm gonna explain why it gets, how bad it gets. That's what got me hurt. So I'm going to my first point. I'm feeling confident, like, okay, I'm about to get this first point in like probably like 10 minutes. Then I'm gonna hit this one. I'm gonna be done with this like in like an hour or so. Real confident. It's gonna be easy. I try to look for my first point. I can't find it. Then all of a sudden I realize it's getting darker and darker. Forget it. Let me find these other points because this one's gonna be a little further, a little deeper in the woods. So I said, scrap that point. I walk all the way down up to Red Diamond. There's a point right here. I found it real quick. Bam. I got 1 point, my first point. So I got a little more confidence. I feel good. I got one point within an hour and a half. Okay. Still kind of slow, but whatever. Then the next point was right there. So I found my second point. I'm feeling real confident. I'm feeling real good. Feeling real good. I'm like, all right. But here's also too, I didn't feel comfortable with dead reckoning, so I had to go around, and I'm explaining how delta that is more important than dead reckoning. So I walk around. I'm like, know what? Since I can't find this my first initial point, let me try again. I find it. I actually find my point. I actually find it. So I got 3 points. It's it's like 2 hours and 40 something minutes. So it's almost getting to like the 4 hour point, the 3 hour point. So I have an hour and like a few minutes to find my last point. So the last point is in Cantigny. Like it's a far walk. I'm walking. I didn't realize how much elevation going up Cantigny is. It wore me out. It was a big walk. I ain't gonna lie, it was a heavy walk. I couldn't see in the woods because it was super dark. Like it was deep in the woods. We did mail every 3 weeks. And the reason I'm saying this random because most 09 Sierras didn't get their supplies, like including my headlamp, to be like that'll be good for being in land nav. I had the base training one, but it was pretty much a dead battery, so it wasn't as strong. So I'm panicking. So I'm like, I see like a little speck of light, but I can't tell what it was because my light wasn't reflecting well. So I got on the log or whatever. So I'm stepping off, the log rolls. I end up rolling my ankle and rolling down the hill, end up spraining my ankle. So I'm almost close to busting time. So I'm like, I'm gonna try to find a point. Couldn't find it, so I had to walk back. So I walked back, bust time, limping. I'm limping all the way down Cantigny to back to the start point or whatever. So I'm just trying to like whatever. I'm like probably like 30 minutes past the time. The ATV, I'm limping, like I'm obviously limping. The ATV comes, he sees me. I know exactly the Cadre who it was too. He said, he was like good, like 300 meters away. So it wasn't like around the corner. He could have drove to me. He was like, hurry up. I told him, hey, I can't, I'm limping. Come over here, I can't walk, I can't run. You know what he did? He takes off and goes back to the starting point and leaves me there. Walk all the way back to the starting point. And I limped all the way back, damn near a crawl to the starting point. And then they had a nerve to get on me. And then I told them like, they was getting on me because I didn't put the SOS signal on there. But I had the white light and everything flashing. So you know I'm like, I walked back. But one of the Cadre saw me and did pick me up. When we already busted time and I told him I was limping, he turned around and left me stranded. And made me walk all the way to the starting point, knowing that I was obviously limping. I said it twice, and know what they said? Oh, I'm sorry that happened. Blah 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 blah. You still failed. It's late, so I'm still in my main clothes and everything. I'm sweating, drenched, everything. Didn't even change. Still dirty and all that. Laid down, just went to sleep. Woke up next morning, ankle swole. My ankle was super swole, like my whole front ankle swole. Barely couldn't even walk anymore. So they eat. I went to the people, doctor. I'm like, hey bro, I can't like walk. I need some ice. I can't do the daytime land nav, whatever. So with pre-quad over with. I'm in the tent or whatever, icing my stuff, putting my foot in the big chunk of ice, putting it back in, ice full. Then the first sergeant walked up to me, was like, hey, how you feeling? I'm feeling good. Blah 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 blah. Check up on me. Hey, you already know, like, would you able to go? I'm like, nah, I can't go. I don't know if I'd be able to go tonight to do the qual. He's like, yeah, you already know what time it is if you don't do it. I'm like, yeah, I understand, blah, 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 blah. Another Cadre that's in my platoon, she walked up on me. She like, kind of give me a little pep talk, like, hey, you like, kind of like pretty much need to get through it, like try to get through it, but more in a positive way, you know what I'm saying, like, after that, you done. Like, if you pass land nav, you'll be done. Like, you pretty much, it's like the hardest stuff. Like, after you do history and all that stuff, you like, do it. All right. So, nighttime comes. I got like I got my foot wrapped. I got like 3 socks on. Whatever. Nighttime qual comes. Block the points. I'm limping. I got the whole stick walking to my point. I was just praying that my points weren't too far. And guess what? All my points were all on the red diamond. All red diamond all the way to box rings. All my points were over there. So that's a long walk. So, but only point I had got that was close was the same point I had from nighttime pre-qual. Same point. So I found that one real quick. I'm limping. But also it messed me up because with the staff, it threw off my pace count. So I had to redo my pace count with the staff. because I had to walk a little different. So because I was taking longer, it took me less time to get there because I was taking longer strides. Then I hit the left on Red Diamond, got that point. Then it was another point right there. That was point number 3. And then it was another point 4 and box number 5. Couldn't find the other point, so I was searching for that point for about like 30 minutes. Couldn't find it. Then I ended up getting the 3rd point real quick. So I had 3 points. The next point was deep down box springs. So I was like, I timed it out. I'm like, damn, that's a far walk. That's over like, that's a far walk. I was like, forget it, let's go. I'm pushing, I'm walking. The point was right here, I found it. I gotta walk back. It was 3 hours and like 8 minutes. So I'm walking back, well, limping back to get to my point. It's a far walk. I'm like halfway on Red Diamond. Halfway, so it's 3:30 left. It's exactly. I remember it was exactly 3:27. So I had 33 more minutes to get to the start more walking. I had 33 more minutes to get to my point. I remember this. This shit was so crazy. It was so crazy. All of a sudden, I see a truck. I see one truck pass me. Don't think none is a regular truck. Then another truck comes, and it's Cadre. They was like, "Get in." I was like, "What you mean get in?" He was like, "Get in, you busted time." I'm like, "No, I didn't." "No, I didn't." Like, "Yes, you did." "No, I didn't. I know the time was 3:27. I knew the time. I had 33 more minutes to get to her." "Nah, you ain't gonna have no time to get there." I'm like, "Yes, I will. I got 33 minutes to get there." He's like, "Nah, you ain't gonna get there." I'm like, "Yes, I will. Get in the bus. Get on the truck. Get on the truck." I'm like, "No, I'm not getting on the truck, bro." Like, "No, get in the truck. You gotta get in the truck." And then here's what gets crazy. They put me in the truck. They get me back. I see people still turning, walking in, no white lights or nothing, walking in to their I'm like, what's going on? Like, I got my 4 points already. I'm good. I turned in my score sheet. I'm like, hey, I got my 4 points. He picked me up before time ended. Like, I was here. I was good. Like, I would have made it back. They said, "Oh, I'll let you know if you're good to go to pass, whatever." But I made time. I had all my 4 points. I was good. So I'm like, all right, if they gonna be on some weird stuff, like, cause my ankle's still messed up. I might have to get recycled to a different class, not the Delta. I gotta do the Alpha company. If I like kind of tough it out, cause they class started on Monday. So I was like, if I pass it, I'll do daytime, and I'll just do daytime easy. I'll be good to go. But if not, I'm just gonna go straight to sick call and call it a day. So the morning comes. It was the captain I was speaking with, whatever. I'm like, hey, they didn't talk to him at all. Like, I realized that based on the conversation. So it's in the morning, early in the morning. Barely didn't take a shower or nothing, cause it's like I'm pissed. Like, I'm mad. Like, I was a whole time contemplating like what I'm gonna do, all that stuff like that. The whole night, I barely even got to sleep. So I speak to the captain. And I said, "Hey man, did I pass? Did I get a go for a land nap? Cause I got my 4 points, but they said I didn't make it in time. But I didn't bust. They said he was like, did you get on the truck? I'm like, yes. Then you failed. Then walked off. That's it. I'm like, sir. He said I didn't bust time. He just picked me up when I didn't bust time. He like, you got on the truck. It don't matter. You failed. That's it. And walked off again. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So even though they were wrong by picking me up before time busted, I still failed land that because I got on the truck. Even though I told them I didn't want to get on the truck, and I still had time to get to where I need to. So I ended up getting recycled based on that. So I have a story between that process and how that worked, because the sergeant that I had issue with, the one that picked me up, was one I had issues with. Dead reckoning helps save a lot of time. So I would say do short range dead reckoning to get to points. It helps save time so you don't cut close. Their process was a little different. There's more teaching, like more beginner friendly, that people that didn't really know what they were doing. So they did buddy team day and night, as opposed to Charlie. They just did buddy team day, which was helpful when I went to the night, because I ended up doing a 3 buddy pair with people that didn't have their own matches, because we get to pick our people in Delta. So I teamed up with someone, and someone with an in-search guy that didn't have experience, and someone else that was real good at land out. got 6 points in the first like hour and a half. I was the second person done. In that iteration. Nighttime came around. I had got 5. I was like top 10 finished with everything. I got 5 points. I'm just gonna go back. I don't care what the Cadre say. Follow the GO trail. If you got a good pace count, say the destination is 600 meters before you gotta make a turn in the forest. If you're at 598 and you see a path where you see a lot of people taking a lot of steps at, it's gonna be very obvious. I would say 9 times out of 10, that's probably where you need to go to. Also, especially during pre-qual and sometimes qual, because sometimes they might take people that pass out or keep everybody that's in. It kind of depends on the company. If your point is in the same area where everybody else is at, more than likely your point is over there too. And even if it's not, that is a good reference to plot that point down and see where that point is in relation to where you need to be at. Also as well too, when you do buddy team, cadre led, be aware of your surroundings. And if you see points in certain areas, especially during daytime, take note where those points are at in relation. So another advice I would say is that when you get your pace count, that's cool. But also, get a watch and time how long it takes you to walk. So if it take you 36 minutes to walk 800 meters, let's do a plus or minus 5 minutes. If you start doing your routes and say something is 1600 meters or something is 800, you had an idea, okay, if I do 600 meters, it's gonna take me an hour to get over there. Or if I go over here, it's gonna take me like 18 minutes. So you can kind of time out how long things are gonna take, so you know have an idea of room for error that you have when you do your routes and stuff. Time management is very key. Get electrolytes, because if you drink too much water, it's gonna clean out, it's gonna flush out your system. Make sure you bring electrolyte, bring some electrolyte packets. People really be collapsing and almost be dying in land now. I'm not exaggerating. I would say this, make sure that you are practicing self-sufficiency and making sure that when you go out into the woods, that you're actually plotting the points on your own and actually getting to your destination. And just use the people that are experienced to confirm that you're going in the right direction, as opposed to them leading everything and then you're following them, because even if you're wrong, you're naturally going to just follow them and then in your head say, oh, I was going to get there anyways. Try to lead the way if you're in groups. And if you're wrong, just be wrong. But it's better to be wrong in a group as opposed to wrong when you're out in the field and you can just correct yourself. Don't be afraid to look like you don't know what you're doing when you're with buddy team or a cadre led, because they'll correct you while you're there. Trust me. I would say honestly with land nav, like, just be confident in what you see and how you kind of like when you find your points, make sure that you're like you focus on plotting and being sure, having a lot of surety. Like nighttime is gonna be scary. Don't be afraid of the darkness, and to stay strong, you're gonna pass for the most part as long as you just pay attention. So hope you find this video helpful. Hit the subscribe button, and I'm out gone.